Error occurred. Please try again later. Reload. Ramsey Show did that to me as well. Okay, there we go. Error occurred. Please try again later. All right, so we're all good now, and we are live from Columbus, OH, and this is the Ramsey Show After Show. Welcome, all baby steppers and other people, whether you're watching live or later. Much appreciated. I am Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach, and you're watching this on youtube.com/Coach Steve Money. And on that main page, if you scroll down past the Oak Island playlist, you'll get to my financial content, which is Ramsey Show After Show, and the Answering Your Financial Questions to playlists. And so, what is that? 439 and 137. So that's 60 something hours at least. Some of them are longer than an hour. So plenty of me talking about finances and answering questions and stuff. And also, the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in there. Listen to those if you are so inclined. Singing, not my job, but not what I'm best at by far. But you can listen to those. And if you can sing them better, by all means, record it and send it to me, and I'll play it on the show. Market report, and of course it's not scrolled all the way up. Let's make sure we are with there we go, we are up to date there. Dow Jones been having a problem recently. Let's see what it says. Drops more than 260 points as Fed decision looms as far as whether they're gonna cut the percentage rate or not. The interest rate, Nvidia slides, but Tesla roars on. Really? All right, we'll check that in a moment. We don't need that anymore, but as you can see, the NASDAQ, again, the best performing. In this case, everything's down, but the NASDAQ, the least down of these major indices, which is another way of saying indexes. Let's see. What do we got? We got on the 19th, we have Accenture and Nike reporting. What day is that? That would be on today's Thursday. Those two will be reporting. And as you can see, even though the NASDAQ as a whole was down 0.32%, your managed fund might be up because Apple was up and Microsoft was up and Tesla up again over 2%, as it normally is, up or down. It's normally a big swing with Tesla either way. See what the rest of the planet did, mostly down in Europe, all down in Asia. So pretty much status quo for the world there. Let's see how the US dollar is stacking up versus the rest of the world up against the euro. Down to the Japanese yen, down to the British pound low, but over the Canadian dollar, sorry. And it is up over the Australian dollar, mate. See if we want to look at it. Let's see if there's any fun news. Since last time, Walmart employees are now wearing body cameras in some stores. Okay. I mean, couldn't hurt. Couldn't hurt. FBI warns Americans to keep their text messages secure. Monster passengers accused of bullying woman who wouldn't trade her comfort seat for coach. All right. Fun times in the world. Let's see, we got coming up for tomorrow. Everything down again tomorrow as well, and so I guess people are not having a good thoughts about the Fed decision that is coming up. I assume that's coming up this week. Don't know for sure though. See what we have for articles. Oh, Trey comes in range out for advice and just insults everyone when he doesn't like the answers. Well, that's probably just one of the same old trolls, Trey. And just came in to and first acted decent to get some interaction, and then after that was dumb. I blocked him as soon as he said that I didn't type in for him to do a YouTube search 3 times, which I did do. So I blocked him immediately because I figured I don't have that much of a leash on the blocking. Michelle, Merry Christmas to you as well. Thank you, Marshall. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, I don't think it was legitimate, legitimate question. It's just somebody wanting to troll, and so that's why I just, as soon as I figure that out, I usually, unless I want to play with them a little bit and call them dumb for a second, and then I block them after that. But I didn't feel there was need to do that. I thought that was apparent. This from CNBC. Why new retirees may need to rethink the 4% rule, and the 4% rule is dumb to me. I know that's the industry standard, and of course that would be fabulous if in your retirement you only have to withdraw 4%. That's fabulous, but what if that's not enough to cover your expenses? So yeah, they don't have an answer for that. They say, well, you just withdraw the 4%. What about if that doesn't cover it? And so the advice, instead of saying 4%, 4%, 4%, they should say you need to be more aggressive now, and you need to make as much money as you can in your retirement account so that you can cover whatever the expenses will be, because we do not know what amount that will be. The key points, and I love CNBC is awesome with the key points, so you don't have to read the entire article. It says the 4% withdrawal rule is a popular retirement strategy that helps investors withdraw money safely from their accounts with low odds of running out of money later. And again, that's great, but what if 4% isn't enough to pay your expenses? Then you got to take out more, right? Yes. Lower expectations for long-term stock, bond, and cash returns mean new retirees may need to proceed a bit more cautiously, according to Morningstar. Right, but you can't say that either, because if 4% is not enough, less than 4% is not going to be enough either. Let's see, there are ways retirees can be more flexible with their spending, experts said. And pardon me, a little agua. I did skim over this one. Let's see. Flexible with their spending. That just means retirees need to spend less if this is the problem. I believe is what it says. Let's see. But that safe withdrawal rate declined to 3.7 in 2025. Well, it's not 2025 yet, so it hasn't done that yet, but maybe some projections that were done. Market conditions according to new research. I guess that's the new research that was done as far as 3.7. So if 4 is not going to cover it, then 3.7 is not going to cover it either. So you can't just spout out numbers and say, well, you just withdraw this much. You can't say that, because that may not be what your expenses are. And so, of course, you cut budget, obviously, always. And let's see. The last thing we want to do is scare people or encourage people to underspend. Why? It's better to underspend and then have money in retirement than to overspend and not have enough money. Let's see. I saw in here somewhere. I can't remember. I saw in here somewhere where it says, they can spend less in retirement then if they need to, and that's true. How retirees can do. Retirees generally spend less in the later years of retirement in inflation-adjusted terms, right? And it also depends. Per the Ramsey advice, you would have your house hopefully paid off by then, and then you would not have a mortgage or rent payment. And so that would definitely help in that. Let's see. If retirees can enter retirement and be okay with spending less later, right? That means in your retirement, it means they can safely spend more in their early retirement years. Yup. Not necessarily, though. It just depends on how high the expenses get during their retirement years. So the answer is we don't know, so you better make as much as you can in the market for retirement now. All right, let's get into some questions. Choo 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 choo. Boom boom. Yep, trolls are trolls. Trolls do not like. What up, Simply? Merry Christmas. The trolls do not like to do their own research. And, like I said, just there to troll anyway, not really wanting any. But you never know. I always answer, though, because they generally, even the trolls would generally start with a question that somebody else may have. So I just go ahead and answer, and then I just block them as soon as they start being dumb trolls when it's apparent. Full Wolverine 3994, which is better than the half Wolverine, of course. For anyone who's tried Snowball Method to pay off your debt, do you recommend it? Yes. Baby steps work. Let's take a look at them here. Steps 1, 2, 3, do one at a time before going to the next one. And you don't invest while you're doing steps 1, 2, and 3, and you don't save for kid college, and you don't pay extra on the house while you're doing steps 1, 2, and 3, and you don't even, while you're doing step 1, you are not paying extra on debt either. You're paying minimums on debt while you get that $1,000. And then after you get the $1,000 in the starter emergency fund, then you start to pay off debt, and then you're not saving 1 cent extra. You are putting all that money on debt. You're not adding to that $1,000, and of course, all that's addressed in the song "How to Do the Baby Steps Right." How to do the baby steps right, and that, of course, is in that aforementioned music playlist. Where were we? Steps 4, 5, and 6. You do all 3 at the same time, but still in that order. So you would still have like a snowball amount, all your extra. Out of that extra each month, 15% of it goes to investing, and then you can start addressing kid college. The younger they are, the less you have to put in per month for that. But as long as you start being intentional with it, that's good. And then anything left over gets put on the house so you can pay that bad boy off early. Oh, let's see. Comfortable Cloud 32. Should I move out or stay at home to pay off debt? Help. And when they say at home, they mean with their parents. So as soon as you move out, guess what? And you're living elsewhere, that's home. That's home. Home is where you live, not your parents' house. So let's see. 25 years old, live with my parents, and I work as an account manager in Washington, D.C. I make $80,000 to $95,000 a year, depending on commish. Commute is 45 minutes to over an hour each way. That's too long. That's too long. Now, DC not going to be cheap either, though. I've been aggressively paying off my student loans for the last 2 years. Great. Started with 82,000 after graduating, have brought it down to 46,500. Also have 1,500 in emergency fund. My question is, should I move out and grow up, or should I stay at home and keep focusing on paying off my debt? Mr. Ramsey is a big fan of adults living on their own. Living at home is helping me save, sure, but I'm torn between continuing this approach, taking the leap to independence. You're also paying a crap ton of gas to commute, and your time as well. So that's an hour each day. That's 2 hours a day where you could be working extra or sleeping extra or anything. And so you gotta consider that as well. Taking the leap to thinking in advance for the help. Okay, yeah. So Mr. Ramsey would advise you to be an adult once you are an adult. And you obviously have a big boy job. I mean, in DC, 80 to 100 grand a year, that not really that much in DC, because you have a higher cost of living there because of all the free government money that everybody's getting, all the government employees. Reggie 2320, would you buy the land or pay off the house? Is this the same property? We have a 10-year fixed 2.8% mortgage rate. We have $90K on our house. My husband 35 and I 36 make $300K plus yearly with no consumer debt. Fabulous. We have roughly $40K in cash and could easily pay our house off by the summer of 25. Do it. However, there is 27 acres. There are 27 acres. If it's just 1 acre, it'd be there is 1 acre, or there are more than 1 acres. 27 acres of land that border our property that we want to purchase, and that's a no. That's a no. You don't start doing extra crap before you pay off the house. There's no remodeling. There's no buying this, that, and the other. There's no buying the land. That's a no. So you pay out the house first, and then you can buy land. And of course, that is in cash. You're done with mortgages, basically, after you pay off the first house. Any upgrades you do, that should be done with cash you save, plus the equity in your house. Let's see. Land will cost around $175K. No way. No way. Maybe less if we talk to it down. No way in Hades. Husband and I are back and forth on either paying a house off or purchasing the land. I'm leaning towards paying the house off first, and with good reason. That would be doing it correctly, but my husband is leaning towards buying the land since the interest rate on our home loan is so low. I'm curious what everyone else thinks. Yeah, the interest rate doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. It doesn't say, let's take a look. Let's see, pay your home off early. It doesn't say, unless there's some land you want to buy and the interest rate is low. It doesn't say that on there. So, that is what I think. And Mr. Ramsey thinks, apparently, based on his baby steps. So, 134, I'm sure some people, a lot of men's like to be buying land. They like, I need land. And of course, if you buy land and then build your own house on there, you're going to pay more for it. That's just how it works. Subes user says, when your update debt paid on to step 3. Following first post with an update. Great. Short summary in this post. Got into bad habits after university. That will happen. Bad habits lead to debt. Followed by some tricky. That one's not in the music playlist yet. Maybe one day, if I can sing it better. Let's see. Tricky life situations. Car issues. Very expensive dog. I've been hard at work on the baby steps since October 2023. That's not that long. At the end of my last post, I was inches away from paying off my debt, and so happy and proud to share that I did. Fabulous. In total, I paid off $11,800 in 9 months, 5 months earlier than initially estimated, thanks to many extra shifts, catering, and babysitting. Yeah, and that often happens once you submit to the plan and commit to it. Submit and commit. And maybe there'll be fun songs. Trying to think of another song that I could fit that into. Submit and commit. Okay, I'll work on it. But most people find that they actually get out of debt. They progress on the baby steps faster than they initially project. It's because once you buy into it, you do start doing this stuff like, I could stay home and watch TV, or I could work extra, and you find other ways to cut things out of the budget. Number one priority outside of better understanding of my expenses has been building an emergency fund. Well, you would only have the $1,000. Where is that? There it is. There's the list right there. You would only have the $1,000 while you're paying off non-mortgage debt, and you don't add, as I said, you don't add 1 cent to that. While you do that, but now that you're out of debt, now it says on to step 3, so hopefully doing it correctly. Let's see what else is up here. Oh my goodness, it's War and Peace. It's so long. Let's see. Save $15,000 by June 2026 for what? 15,000. Oh, okay. For full emergency fund. Okay, which would cover 6 months of expenses. That's a lot of expenses, but they got, I guess, a expensive dog and such, or was that the last one? Yeah. Let's see. No, that was this one. Okay. Time estimate based on using only my primary income to fund it, but hope to put approximately $8,000. Yeah, so that's one way that it can go faster for you, is if you don't include extra working normal income and not any extra. So that would work. That it does make it happen faster. One thing I think is often not talked about enough is how long it takes to save up that emergency fund. It's definitely a grind. I'm also working on setting aside an extra $1,500 for dog emergencies. Yeah, and you do. Some people also may take their foot off the gas once they're out of debt and just save an emergency fund as well. They may be going out to eat more, etc., just spending money more because they're not in debt anymore, but it's not over. You need to really keep the hammer down and be gazelle intense until you have that full emergency fund. Since July, I've been working on creating sinking funds for bigger expenses, car maintenance, vet care, taxes, etc. Yeah, you can do sinking funds like that, which is basically, that's a separate savings account. Doesn't have to necessarily be in a different account, but different, it's for a different purpose. So you're saving extra money for the known upcoming expenses, and that's fine. That I know are coming up. Yep. Someone last post highlighted that I need to learn to keep money and not have it burn a hole in my pocket. That much is certain. As someone who has been living paycheck to paycheck for so long, that's definitely going to take some getting used to. I find it very helpful to have my sinking funds and emergency funds in different accounts that are not visible in my day-to-day banking. You can have as many accounts as you want, whatever you need to do to stop you from doing dumb, stupid crap. Let's see. I know the money's there, but it keeps it out of reach. Great. Do that then. Overall, I've not been perfect with the Ramsey method. I still occasionally give myself a bit of money for an activity or gifts. But I know that I've been giving it my all. No, you haven't. You've not been doing that. You just said if you've not been perfect with the Ramsey method, you're not giving it your all. You're not doing that. And that the Ramsey mindset of avoiding debt is definitely one that will stick with me for the rest of your life. That's great, but you still gotta, even if paying cash, you gotta pay less cash for fewer things. Like, for example, an activity or gifts, don't do that until you get done with baby step 3. And then once you're in baby step 4, then fine. You can be more lax with things like that. I'm grateful I was able to find the reality check and focus I needed to take control of my finances. For the first time ever in my life, I do see a clear path forward, and that despite the challenges and unexpected expenses that are sure to arise, I will be able to make it to financial stability. Anyways, at this point, I'm getting sappy, but thanks to the community and support, it meant and continues to mean a lot. I'm excited for the next step. All right, fabulous. Like I said, stay gazelle. 1, 2, and 3. Stay gazelle until you get that emergency fund too. It's not good enough to just be out of debt. That's better than having any debt, but not as good as being out of debt and having the full emergency fund. So you are still should be in gazelle mode for that. Bo, bo, bo. Simply likes my little tree. Thanks. I like it too. It's not such a bad little tree. If he's going to work in DC, he will need to commute an hour or more. Says Marshall. Yeah, it's expensive there. So, yeah. So you might be stuck in that. You're right. I wanted to start the envelope system. So simply, have you guys tried that? No, my ex-wife and I never had to do that. Simply, we stuck to the budget. So, and we didn't have any problems not doing that. Now, some people can't do that, and so then they have to go to the envelope system and put the cash in each one and use each envelope to buy groceries, etc., etc. But we didn't have a problem. Once we did the budget, we stuck to it. If something came up, we sometimes adjusted the budget, but there was no problem sticking to the budget amount. And I am not blurry on my screen. If you're on a computer, well, either way, you can check the quality of the video. Let's see. Simply refreshed. Oh, okay. All right. So it was. She's good now. Oh, thank you so much, Simply. Simply super chatted me. Marshall says Rachel had a wallet made for spaces for all the envelopes. I saw them on the Ramsey website. That's true, but then you got to buy that. But yeah, thank you so much, Simply. Very, 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 very grateful. Simply sticks to the budget is the other half that has difficulty. Okay, well, you need to have a little chat and find out what would help. It's like what would help, and that could include maybe raising some categories that he likes to go over on just a little bit, but also the problem in doing that is sometimes when you raise that up, then that becomes not enough as well. So, and some people just will not stick to a budget. So hopefully he'll be able to get that under control. But yeah, you can try envelopes with him. Beyond that, he just has to man up and make himself do it. He agreed to it in the budget meeting, right? So, assuming that he's involved in the budget meeting, definitely have him involved in the budget meetings. And agreeing to it. And so you guys have to compromise and agree on everything. And even if it doesn't fit in with the baby steps, it's whatever you guys agree on, because I'm assuming you want to stay married. And so any spousal agreements trump any of the baby steps. So because you guys want to stay married, and so you have to come to a compromise there. Let's see, Marshall. Had coworkers that traveled all the time. Their wives give them $50 a week to spend on whatever they wanted, or they could save it up for something nice. Okay, wife took care of all the bills. That's not being controlling if he already agreed to the budget, right? It's just a physical representation of the budget. Fully involved and fully agrees. We never argue. It's just him following the budget, right? And that is a big problem. That is a big problem, and it is not always the men's. Am I right? But a lot of times women are spenders, and that will happen as well. So that's not a thing based on the sexes. That's just a thing based on whether you can do it or not, and whether you make yourself do it. So unless there is something that would require counseling for a person, you can make yourself do it. So you're choosing not to. You're choosing either not to pay attention to it, or you are intentionally know that you're going over and you do it anyway. And so that until there's a like actual mental block or a some kind of other issue that would require counseling, until it gets to that point, then it's just his decision. He's the one deciding to do that. Let's see. Purple Greenway, Roth IRA, 59 female. Is it worth me starting a Roth IRA now? Do I have to put in the required minimum? There's no minimum. No, it may be different brokerage to brokerage, but you can do any amount. For any, you can buy any amount of, you can buy 1 cent of a mutual fund on Fidelity for sure. So let's see. Is it worth it starting the Roth? So 59. So it depends. If you're still working, you do have to have income coming in order to qualify for the Roth IRA. And if you do not need the money to live on in retirement, you would still be doing that. Or is it okay to put in what I can year to year if I can't meet minimum? There's not a minimum, there's a maximum. Maybe that's what they mean. I have 401k through work, been here 7 years, thanks in advance. I'm not sure if I should start this or add more to 401k. Yes, I get company match. Well, it's match first because that's 100% rate of return. So you would do that first, and then after that you prioritize the Roth account because that is free growth on there. Now you are older, so this person here, I would want to know when they plan on retiring, that kind of thing, because you may have to, like if she's going to retire next year, you wouldn't put it in a Roth. You would just put it in like a high yield savings account and have it be like a bridge account is what it's called. Something to get you through retirement until you can actually take a distribution penalty free, which you can at I think 59.5 anyway. So it would for this person specifically, I would need a little bit more information, but in general, if you are still having an income, you can contribute to a Roth IRA. And also, if you don't need that money to live on in retirement, then yeah, you may as well keep. That's part of baby step 7, build wealth and give. So that's you building wealth is in the market as well. And so, and that you eventually would leave to an heir, or if you have no heirs, a worthy charity or something like that. So yeah, you only need to, the only reason not to invest would be if you would need to keep that cash to live on in retirement. Shogun 0387. I'm in massive medical debt thanks to years of digestive health issues and now a TBI. What would Dave do? Oh, you know what I just thought of? Simply is Simply's doing her live. All right. Something I thought about for her. I want to know if that super chat. I certainly appreciate it fully, but was that in the budget? That's what I want to know. I would like to know that. I'll have to ask her next time I talk to her. Let's see. Shogun 0387 in massive medical debt thanks to years of digestive health. Now a TBI. What would Dave do? Massive medical debt. Thanks to, well, you pay it off just like any other debt. So I'll try to make this short as possible. 37 in the state of Tennessee. Digestive health issues. Gallbladder surgery. Oh, you didn't. They scheduled you for gallbladder surgery, and then you were born without one, so they didn't have to take it out, but they didn't know that until they go to remove it. You can't see the gallbladder in some kind of X-ray. Like, I know for like to see organs and stuff, they have to give you it's got like a shot that basically colors it and makes it show up on X-rays, but they can't see that. I'm still charged thousands in surgery and service. Okay, well that doesn't matter. You owe that money apparently. After the surgery wasn't successful in controlling my symptoms, my gastroenterologist ordered more tests, then jumped the gun on something about my liver, and now most of my issues may be from atrophy. So it's sounds like a lot of guessing, and so I mean, all you can do is, because diagnosis. So like, problem after problem after problem. No income, 20K medical debt. Okay. No income, no assets. I can't help with any of that other stuff. So 20K medical debt, no income, no assets. I don't own my house, my car, etc., etc. There's not much you can do. You have to have income to be able to make progress on the baby steps, and in your case, to pay off this debt. The windfall of medical issue has made it all feel hopeless to ever get out from under the financial pressure of the debt. Well, no time frame from when you'll be working again. There's not much you can do. Oh, a locked post. You must have gotten contentious. Only 24 comments though. But I mean, I could see because it's like thing after thing after thing, and after the first thing, I'm going to a different doctor, maybe. You know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So I could see where people would start getting upset, perhaps. Let's see, random account 12580, investing 15% with quarterly bonuses. Hey y'all, I've been trying to call the show but can't get through. It's a very popular show. I want to know what Dave's advice would be for my situation. Currently in baby step 3 with 3 months of expenses saved, although I'd like to continue saving up 4 to 6 months. Well, then you do that. So if you're still doing that, then you're not investing. That's a no. So you're doing it wrong. Although single and no kids, 3 months is fine, but you're the one that says you'd like to have 4 to 6 months. So I guess if I want it, okay. Well, you decide that and then do that, and if you're gonna do that, you don't invest yet. Anyway, once I move to baby step 4, okay. How should I go about investing 15% of my income? You would put that in your. You would invest 15%. You do that out of every check. That's how you do that. And so that way you are doing it not only of your salary, but also of your bonuses as well. So you would do it out of everything, and that automatically becomes 15% of your entire gross pay, including bonuses. The 401k, it should be match first. Again, it's always the same. Match first, because that's 100% rate of return. You cannot get better than that. And then next the Roth IRA, so you get the tax-free growth. And then you would max out. You would go to the 401k after that, because the Roth IRA is only going to be, what is that, $7,000 for a person under 50. See if there's anything else there. I'd really like to do. Oh, really know what Dave's answer would be, but appreciate any feedback. Yeah, it would be first decide about your emergency fund. If 3 months is fine, fine. Go ahead and start investing. If you want more than 3 months, then you save up that amount first and then start investing. And then you do that out of each check. It's not a deal of you save a bunch of money and then put it in the market at one time. You just, once you get to step 7, then you start doing that out of every check. And if you start mid-year, then once the new year started, like say you started investing in August of this year, 2024, and then it becomes January 1st, all right? And so if you've only been doing 15% of each paycheck, then you have not maxed out any of your accounts for any of your retirement accounts for 2024. You can still put money towards the 2024 year up until tax day. So until April 15th or so of 2025, you can still contribute until you hit the maximum for 2024. And that way you are backloading it. That way, if you do start making way much more money, or something comes about that you can put more towards retirement, then you have room in the next year's account maximum. But for this, it's, yeah, so should I invest? I mean, you don't even have to think about this. You just do the 15% of each check. So again, because you're not saving it up in a lump sum and then investing it. So you don't even have to figure out, should I invest 15% of my base pay by 401k? So $11,250 a year. So overthinking it, divide it amongst my paychecks, right? So that's all you have to do. You don't even have to do this math at all. You just do it out of every paycheck, and that will automatically be 15%. But then invest 15% of my quarterly bonus in a Roth IRA until I meet the limit. No, that's not how you would do that. You would prioritize as you go along. You would prioritize any match first, and then the Roth account, and then you go back to the traditional. So this person is overthinking it and thinking about it incorrectly instead, because he wants to like compartmentalize the regular paychecks to the 401k and then the bonus checks to the Roth IRA, and that's not how it works. That would be you doing it wrong. So, but he's trying to, I see what I think he's trying to do there, but it doesn't work like that. It's not the advice. Slighted and confused, all right. Better than dazed and confused, maybe. No, probably not, actually. Get out from my car. You mean out from under? Is the car you owe on it more than it's worth? Should have traded my car. I owe $9,600 on the loan. I'm right on the verge of being upside down on the car. I can afford to increase my payments and pay it off sooner. But then what? Own a clunker worth nothing that will need to be replaced. Let's do English, people. With a car I need to finance, and okay, so you never need to finance anything. That would be your choice. So you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it all wrong. Explain like I'm dumb because I'm dumb. Yeah, apparently. Just getting into this money stuff. Yeah. So being upside down, I can afford to increase my payment and pay it off. Yeah, you would pay it off, or you would sell the car and buy a cheaper cash car. Either one of those, because you got to have a car, right? And then own a clunker worth nothing that will need to be replaced with a car. No, your next car, if that one needs to be replaced, then you would buy that one in cash. And again, we're talking about a very cheap car, probably. So that's what you don't get, and you're not dumb, you're just normal. That's the normal thing, is to have this kind of thinking and say, I need to finance, and that kind of language using that. You don't need to do anything like that. You don't need to finance anything. You are choosing to finance it because you're justifying it to yourself. All this is justification station right here. And then what? Own a clunker worth nothing? That blah, 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 blah. Yes, you do that if you want to follow the proven advice that has been proven to work. Millions of documented times, 30-year track record from Mr. Ramsey. But certainly you can do whatever you want with your money and your life, but you're doing it wrong. You're thinking about it wrong. Everything you're doing here is bad. Says it much better than I do. Smart.
If everything you're doing is bad, I want you to know this.
Always forget to go back to the... There we go. Tanya, what up? Thanks for dropping by. Much, much appreciated. Simply, I am very thankful that your extra spending money was spent on me. Now she's rolling out. Simply must be a transformer, apparently. Roll out. Autobots, roll out. Got an instant camera from work. Got the film and camera case. Well, that was silly of me to spend on a GIF. Ugh. Got an instant camera from work. Oh, okay. So you got the instant camera and you had to buy the film and camera case. Yeah. Yeah, gifts that cause you to buy other things are not the best kind of gifts, for sure. This is from Glitter Bomb 987. Help with budget and paying off auto loan. Okay. And so how you pay off that auto loan is you do not spend money on anything else that's not 100% necessary to live. Single mom, about $17,000 left on the car loan, 7% APR, no other debts, income, $18.50 bi-weekly post-tax and deduction, monthly expenses. Now, the fastest way to get through this, and we'll just open it up to see if there's anything else. Nice little list there. Oh, there's a bunch of stuff. All right. So the fastest way to get out of debt would be to sell that dumb car and buy a cheap car in the low single thousands, like a $2,000-$3,000 car instead. And then you don't have to pay that off. So you can choose to do that, but that's going to take to pay it off, but that's going to take you much longer and keep you in debt much longer. And the idea is that you are gazelle intense and you're trying to get out of debt. And so again, with the justification station, but then I have a bad car and then it might break and blah, 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 blah. And if it does, then you buy another cheap car and you're still better off than having a $17,000 that you still have to pay off on the car. So the idea is to sell the car. And how you pay that off is you do not spend money on anything else. $1,220 rent, $382 car note, so that would be gone. So congratulations, that's an extra $382. And so you don't have any other debt, so that would go into your emergency fund. Fabulous. 120 car insurance, 70 internet, all that's 50 electricity, all that's exactly what I pay. 40 other utilities. Okay. 56 some subscriptions. Guess what? Guess what we can do with subscriptions? We can unsubscribe to those. Unsubscribe. Rental insurance. That's probably a good idea. And some apartments require it. Weekly 200 in groceries. You might be able to whap that down a little bit. I spend about maybe a quarter of that, and that includes like toiletries and cleaning products, etc., etc. Anything that you would get from Walmart, that includes all of that, and so you could cut that down. So yeah, you just cut it down. If it's not 100% necessary to live on, and that includes extra food, then you do not buy it. And that's how the auto loan goes away, especially now. Now, if you would sell the car, then you can be more lenient with your budget items. But you should still be gazelle intense while you save up the full emergency fund. But there needs to be some sacrifice of some sort. So either you sacrifice and not have this new car that you bought, apparently. And so you get rid of that, you sell that, and you buy a cheap car. Or if you commit to paying it off, then you're gonna do without all your freaking subscriptions, and you're gonna cut down groceries, whatever expensive foods you're buying. And especially if that's eat out money. If you're getting takeout and such, fast food, etc., any of that, if that includes any of that, yeah, that will make that go up. And so you don't do that while you're doing steps 1, 2, and 3. So that's a no. Some additional expenses, $300 annually for property taxes and maintenance. Oh, is that on the car? Okay, so that's on the car. So property taxes would go down too if you didn't have a car worth so much as well. $450 annual. I'm assuming because it says rental. It says rent. It doesn't say mortgage on this. So that's why I was concerned about that. But I guess that's on the car. No, but see, then it's a separate thing. So what the heck is this on then? What is this? Property taxes and maintenance. If you're renting, you're not being charged that. The owner of the company. But I mean, I guess it's possible the person you're renting from could send you an extra bill for that and make you pay some of it, but that's highly irregular. Normally they would just have, that $300. They would just say, well, it's $1,300 instead of $1,220. It's $1,300 a month for that, and then they pay the property taxes and the maintenance. So I don't know what that is, and then you have to do a different $400 to $500 annually car maintenance and paperwork, including state inspection and registration, etc., etc. Okay, $400 to $500. I mean, if you're paying that every year on that car, that's not worth it to keep that car then. $300 annually for professional development, unfortunately non-negotiable for my field of work. All right, and so again, that would be why you cut out the buying the extra food. Somewhere $1,000 annually in prescription and medical appointments between me and my child. You don't have insurance? Don't have health insurance? Doesn't see an expense for this, so maybe. I usually save around $275 per paycheck, split between an emergency fund and account for my child's future. Okay, you're doing it wrong. You don't do that. You have $1,000 in your starter emergency fund while you're paying off debt, milady. You're doing it wrong. And so you don't add to the $1,000 emergency fund, and you don't do an account for your child's future. You take care of your future first, and then once you get on steps 4, 5, and 6, then you could save for kid college if you wanted to, or if not college, you could just have a general fund for the child's future. But any advice or the feedback would be, and you guessed it, as usual, you follow the baby steps and you don't spend $200 a week on freaking groceries. Now, I understand the child is there and I don't have a child, but the child should not be accounting for $150 extra dollars than I spend at the grocery store. So, I need, diapers, etc., that kids have, food for kids, etc. That's not cheap. But again, it should not be $150 more per week than I can live on myself. Boom, 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 boom. Tanya is struggling to know how much house to buy. Housing should be a quarter of income, right? Quarter of your take-home pay, too. The mortgage payment, yeah, mortgage payment should be 25% of your take-home pay, and on a 15-year fixed. And if it's not, if you have to do a 30, you can't afford it. If you can't do 25% of your take-home pay as the payment each month, then you can't afford that house either. 25% is not enough house. That's too bad then. Then you got to move. You got to make more money or move. Yep. Sorry, Tanya. That's how it works there. Yeah, I mean, you're trying to either buy too much house, or you may also be in a high cost of living area and you don't have a high cost of living salary. So yeah, that would be 15%, and that's all you should be doing on a mortgage on a 15-year fixed. And if it's over that, then it's too much house. You do not make enough money to buy that. And just because you're born somewhere or want to be in a particular city or state doesn't mean that you can afford to buy a house there. So you should stick within those guidelines. Otherwise, the house will own you instead of you owning the house. And that's what we call house poor if you go over the 25. Oh, you buy a house with cash? Oh, if you're buying a house in cash, that's different. You can, I mean, if you're on step 4, you're already doing like step 4 and 5. You're already doing that, addressing that, and you have the cash saved up in addition to your full emergency fund. You can buy that. You would certainly want to consider all the things that come with it, though, like the property taxes, the insurance on it. If you're in a small like apartment now or a small house now and you want to get a much bigger house, you got to think, well, the heating's going to be more, the cooling is going to be more, and extra expenses and so forth are going to be involved as well. So yeah, so no, it wouldn't be that. No, you can save up to buy a house in cash, and that can be whatever amount you want it to be, as long as you are also doing investing. Although you can stop investing for up to 2 years if you want to save that down payment. Dave is fine with you doing that to save a larger down payment or the whole thing. Also, for speaking of saving for a house, Colby W. 2013. Invest in mutual fund to save for a home in approximately 5 years. Okay, you have to have at least 5 years. If it's going to be at least 5 years, then yes, you can do that. You can use the market as a piggy bank. The problem, if it's going to be less than, if it all of a sudden comes 5 years, or in 2 or 3 years, I found the perfect house. This is our forever house. And then you want to take the money out. The market could be down right at the time when you want to do that. And it has less chance of doing that within a 5-year period. So if it is 5 years, if it's going to be 5 years or over, yes. If it's going to be less than 5 years, that would be a no. Just use a high yield savings account in that instance. Forgot words for a second there. Ready? There's some old delivery 7964. What should I do? Hello, everyone. I wonder if the baby steps would answer the question. Let's see. I want some advice on what I should do. Been reading a lot lately on Dave Ramsey advice with baby steps. Okay, great. So you're familiar with those. So those alone should not be answering the question then. How about 25K IRS debt and 10K student loan debt? Okay, so the IRS debt is first, because you do not want to be in trouble with the IRS. So that is moved first, and that does not say that in the baby steps. So you get a pass. You get a pass from me on that. Normally I don't get passes, but you get one. So, and that is more money owed than the student loan debt. And so you would not do smallest to largest. You do smallest to largest, but before you even do that, you would prioritize the 25K IRS debt. I do drive a 2011 Honda. Worried about it breaking down at some point. That doesn't matter. People are always worried about stuff. So your worry doesn't mean it's gonna. Honda's generally pretty reliable. So stop worrying about stuff. Enough stuff will happen that you don't have to worry about it. So you just wait until something happens. Things will happen. No need to worry about it. You worrying about it's not gonna stop it. And you are in not a position, because of your debt, you're not in a position to save money for a new car fund. Currently I have 15K emergency fund. You're doing it wrong. Should I use all? I take it back. No passes. I take back my pass. Taking it back. Taking the pass back. 15K emergency fund. Should I use all or some of my emergency fund to pay towards my debt? I don't understand people. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't. I really don't. This says save $1,000 as fast as possible. You know, does the person say, oh, well, I have 15,000, so I already have that one, and they just don't do anything about it, and they keep the 15,000 and go to step 2? That is ridiculous to me, but, you know, people think all kinds of different ways, and so... You know, they think, oh, well, I got this saved up, and so I don't, and it's an emergency fund, so I never let that go. No, you let it go. And you already, should I use all or some of my emergency fund to pay towards my debt? Use all of it except $1,000. So basically what you want to do is the baby steps, and part of that is undoing the dumb crap that you previously did. Like, for example, in the last one, 2 ago, for the auto loan, the advice is to not finance a car. You buy a car in cash. And so to undo it, you can sell that and buy a cheap car in cash like you should have done to begin with. That is how you fix that. Now, again, you can choose the harder path and keep the car if you really, really love it, but you're going to have to sacrifice in other ways in that case. And so, how to undo the dumbness of saving up a pile of money while you have debt, especially with the IRS, is dumb as crap. I don't understand how people think like that. Even when I was broke, I didn't think like that. I didn't think, oh, well, I'll have more money saved up than I owe for sure. That is dumb as crap. Dumb. So, and you knew it because you asked. If they asked, that means you already knew it. So you just don't want to. So, and you would use all of it except for the $1,000. So what you do instead of making the baby steps fit to your life, you make your life fit to the baby steps. So you change everything about what you're doing to be like the baby steps, not you adjust the baby steps to fit to your life. That would be you doing it wrong. Oh, let's see. Timex due 755. I think I did this one already. Emergency fund has growing needs. Let's see, what would Dave do flare here? It feels like, for me, it just keeps growing with increased property tax, grocery cost. In this short, specific example, my wife picked up a part-time job teaching. It's a hybrid Christian school. Tuition for our kids is half her monthly income. Should I just see this as a cash flow deduction, or should I add it to the emergency fund requirement? If it's an expense, you do have to do that. You know what you could also do is put the kids in public school as well. And then you wouldn't have to add that to the emergency fund. And so, but if it's an ongoing expense that you think is 100% necessary, And you know that is a little more leeway than say what else would be like if you don't have a full emergency fund. Well, you wouldn't only have you would only be doing this at step 3, so that means you would have no debt already. So um, yeah, so you would add in any expenses that you and your wife have agreed to, or you and your husband. Oh, wife. So yeah, you and your wife have agreed to. So if you guys agreed to that, pay that Christian school tuition for them, and I guess because you teach there, you get a break on the. Oh, maybe it's not there. I don't know if it's the same school, but regardless, uh, put the kids in public school. They'll live. I lived. I turned out fine, supposedly. Jury may still be out, but it was fine. Go to public school. Dumb, dumb to pay that money for no reason. So, but theoretically, you have no debt because you didn't mention debt, and you're supposedly working on an emergency fund that is not the $1,000 emergency fund. So, and you say, and like, if your expenses change, yes, you would change the emergency fund requirement. Now, what a lot of people do is they add things in there that don't need to be in there for your monthly expenses. For example, I'm glad you asked. You said, what things, Steve? And I'm glad you asked that question. Because one of them would be investing. If there's an emergency, you're not investing, so that is not part of the emergency fund. So that 15% of your gross income is not included in that list of emergency fund monthly expenses. So it's things like that. It's only the 100% necessary things. And as far as the tuition, if you decide to have the kids in a school that costs tuition, then that's one of your monthly expenses because they will still have to go to school even if you do have an emergency. But you don't have to invest if you have an emergency. So hopefully you see the difference there. And understand that. So yeah, you don't include all the money that you spend when there's not an emergency happening. You don't include all that as part of monthly expenses when there is an emergency. Like when there's an emergency, you don't have time to be watching cable TV, so you can also cut that out, for example. So that's what all that's about, and that's what it's all about. Alrighty, once again, Coach Steve Money, youtube.com/Coach Steve Money is where you're watching this. And if you just scroll down past the Oak Island playlist, Ramsey Show, Aftershow Show, and the Answering Your Financial Questions are my two playlists for the financial content. Also, the music playlist has 11 Ramsey adjacent songs in those. They're parodies of sorts, and singing not my regular job, so don't count on much there. But you might like the words, you might like it, you might think that it's entertaining, and so give those a listen. If you are so inclined. Let's find out about Tanya's home. Bum bum bum. Sid got the Six Sigma certification. Congratulations, Sid. Choo 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 choo. Trying to see about Tanya. Yes, definitely 6-month emergency fund first before you save penny one on the down payment or the entire house, which is advised more so than getting a mortgage. Marsha had a house where she had to carry all of the groceries upstairs to the kitchen and didn't have a garage attached to the house. My next house, I made sure to not make that mistake. Yep, learning. We're learning. No tiny homes. Mr. Ramsey is on board with the no tiny homes. What up, Margs? Merry Christmas to you as well. Sid thinks her house is fine to grow old in. Couple doorways could use widening, but it's all on one level. That's fabulous. I say from an apartment that has stairs on it, you can see the lights behind me are on stairs. And so I do have that, but that's good for some cardio as well. So but I don't have to take groceries up there because the kitchen is down here. But yes, congrats again to Sid. Alrighty, once more, I am Coach Steve Money, and I am a Ramsey Solutions certified financial coach. And if you, yes, you have financial problems, money problems, or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, either way, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/Coach Steve Money. And you can email me at coachstevemoney@gmail.com if you have any questions about financial coaching or anything on my YouTube channel or anything else at all that's on your mind. Donations can go to paypal.me/Coach Steve Money or CashApp $Coach Steve Money or Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. The options are endless, it seems. Super chats like Simply did. Thank you so much, Simply, again. Upcoming streams. I don't know how she schedules her live stream during mine. How dare she? But I guess that's the way it goes. Upcoming streams. The Ramsey Show Aftershow show Monday through Friday. Following each YouTube Ramsey show. And that is my stream starts approximately 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And tomorrow's Ramsey show on Wednesday the 18th of December is the last new Ramsey show of the year. But I will still be doing live shows, after shows, right after the replays are over, including on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, unless I am invited somewhere at that particular time, 5:25 p.m. Eastern Time. And so I will try to let you know in advance. And generally, people are busy with families and stuff and enjoying the holiday season. So they generally aren't the best attended, but that's just fine. I will do them anyway. No problemo. All right, so again, much appreciated. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and chatting, whether you're doing it live or you're doing it later. Much, 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 much appreciated. And Merry Christmas, everyone. And of course, make smart financial decisions every day.